Hello, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Com Corner, Classics slash Non-Classics. This is episode number 71 and Doubleshot number 23. Okay? You know, you basically start from Marvel and DC for the show, right? First up, Uncanny X-Men, Warranty. This has issues 530 to 534. Now, the first couple issues of the story is written by Matt Fraction and the new writer from Uncanny X-Men, Kieran Gillen. This is also Matt Fraction's last time you see him in the title. Just like when Edward Baker left title, Matt Fraction wrote just the start of the story, then he handed off to Kieran Gillen for us the whole entire thing. Now, Kieran Gillen stays on this series up until the final issue of Uncanny X-Men Volume 2, Issue 20. That's his last issue. Greg Land does the artwork for this entire story. Like I keep saying about Greg Land. Now, this is actually a not bad story. It just basically X-Men getting a virus. Now, does the events of this particular story affect what's going on in the X-Men franchise? Nope. It's a standalone story. Has really nothing really much to do with what's going on in the X-Men franchise. Because of the fact Greg Land does the artwork, it's actually not that bad. So I'm giving this one a 9.5 out of 5, despite the fact Greg Land does the artwork. This is still a good story. The artwork is a bit better than his usual stuff. But I'll give this 9.5 out of 5. 9.5 out of 10, excuse me. Next up, this is a story I've wanted to do. Uncanny X-Men, Breaking Point. The second arc of Kieran Gillen's run and tell. And the neat thing about this book, Greg Land does not do any of the artwork in this book. Basically, it's Carlos Pacello, Terry Dodson, Ivan Robertson. This book has issues from Uncanny X-Men 534.1 and 535 to 539. Now, 3 different stories in this book. First is the issue where Magneto goes public. It's basically the issue where the X-Men publicist, what's her name? Kate Kildare. Yeah, Kildare, a woman from the Order series, who's the X-Men publicist this time. She remains publicist up until her death in the final issue of Uncanny X-Men 1 2. She's basically just interviewed with Magneto. Now, that is a really, really good story. I wish they had more stories like this, and maybe at this time, but at this particular point on Magneto's solo series. Magneto currently has a solo series, except it's a black and white series, and I've not read a single issue. I've read the previous 2 volumes, and the current volume. The next 3 issues is the Breaking Point story. And this is the follow-up to Josh Whedon's final story arc of Astonishing X-Men Unstoppable, where they finally wrap up the recurring storyline at this point of Kitty Pryde being trapped in her phase form. She gets supposedly killed and resurrected in the same issue. Also, they explain how Colossus came back. This is probably a recurring question basically on the minds of X-Men fans for, at this point, this was 2004, excuse me. This was on the minds of X-Men fans for 7 years. I think it's 7 years. Quick second here. Yeah, 7 years. 7 years, people wondering, how did Colossus come back? Kieran Gillen finally explains how the heck came back. It was due to a ritual which 5 slaves were basically killed in order to bring him back. This is a fantastic story. Plus, Kitty Pryde finally gets to be back in unphased form. She can still phase, but she's not in permanent phase form, and she's out of her freaking suit. And she basically tries to tell her after she gets stabbed, because no one can hear her talk, until she finally gets to Wolverine, who finally notices that somebody is behind him, and it's not Kitty. He does kind of see Kitty, doesn't hear her, but he sees this guy here. Krull, the former Power Lord of Breakworld. But that's it for that story. As to the final, so this is a really good story. This one has Hope and Wolverine taking on the Crimson Commando. Yeah, the Crimson Commando, formerly of Freedom Force, back in the 1980s. This guy's not been seen in years, and apparently, according to him, MJ took away his powers, and he's dying. Because of having comments, and he put on some weight. I mean, my God, you should see him in this book. I mean, the artist who draws. Look at this. Look at Crimson Commando. Ever since he lost his freaking power, he's put on weight, and he looks like he's aged, like, I don't know, 20, 30 years. He looks like a, even though he's partially a cyborg, he's pretty much a freaking Frankenstein monster. Now, he does get killed in this story. No spoiler, the story's been out for a couple of years. He gets killed, not by Hope Summers, but he gets killed by freaking Wolverine. Yeah, Wolverine kills him by stabbing him. Yeah, actually he slits his throat. That's how he kills him. That was a really good story. Basically, this is also toward the end of X-Men Volume 1, so it's not a bad idea to bring back the Crimson Commando. I give this book a 10 out. I give this whole entire book a 10 out of 10. One reason: Greg Land doesn't do any of the artwork. Plus, these are fantastic stories you should definitely find and read. And plus, the artwork on this cover is gorgeous. I believe this is the cover to, if I'm not mistaken, 35? Yeah, 535, this is the cover to. This is the cover different issue. Alright? That's it. Stay tuned for my next video, where it's episode 72, and Doubleshot number 24. See you there. Bye.